For everybody who doesn't know me, my name is Gerd Küchler. I'm organizing along with Ladia Hale for almost a couple of years here our SNCZ project between the basketball clubs in Usti and in Dresden. And the reason why we are inviting today everybody of you is that we were very fortunate in the last weeks or months that we got an extension and second project for the next 2 years, which actually should have started in October if there would not have been Corona. So we are now here to make a kickoff in a digital way. I know that normally we would like to meet in person, but that's at the moment not possible. So that's why we will start here today. First of all, if anybody has problems with understanding, we will do the presentation here mainly with Ladia Cafe, that is Jan Dvorak from Litomerice, and Konrad Slavik, our project manager our project coordinator from Dresden. We will be the first 30 minutes, the main speaking people. If you have any questions with understanding, with translation, you can write to Konrad or to Cafe or Lazi, ask for translation, or just use this raise your hand button or write your questions in the chat. And at the end, we will go back to the questions. So I will now share my screen so everybody can see what we will talk about. And this is going to be our project SNCZ 2020 to 22, which is called Basket for All. The main topic in this project will be coaches, education, beside also tournaments for our kids. And yeah, I will just start with the presentation and see how it goes, if everything continues as I wanted. Here we go. No. Let's go. We start here off. Our project presentation will be a short view on the project partners, a little view back on what happened in the last 3 years, and then we are looking forward to the next 2 years. And I will introduce you what our this coach program will be, what we want to do, and then we will continue talking about the project. We will talk about topics which will be taken care of, or which will be discussed in the project. And in the end, we hope that each of you might be interested and willing to involve in the next months to come. So we will, in the end, make a little survey and asking everybody who is interested to let us know of what kind of coaches education program he would like to participate. That will not be a final say yes or no. It's first of all for us an listing up of who would be interested, and who then we will be in touch in the next week to create our groups. But let's start. You see, we are here having our map of the region here in the border. That is the region which is supported or funded by the European Union. Their main goal is to create interaction between people from the state of Saxony in the German side and the Karlovarski Krai, Ústecký Krai, and Liberecký Krai. In our case, we are cooperating here within the states of, or the region of the Dresden area, along with Ústecký Krai, where we have our 2 partner clubs from Sluneta Usti nad Labem and Slavoj Litomerice. On the German side, this is the project lead partner is the Dresden Titans Basketball Club, and Nu is the basketball club from Ottendorf, which is maybe 20 minutes outside towards the Berlin direction in the north.
May I stop you for a sec?
Yeah.
Just to give a little feedback to Czech crew, because I know, as long as I know, there are some coaches that are not very comfortable in English, so just to give them short overview. Takže jenom v češtině v rychlosti to, o čem dneska tady budeme mluvit, to, o čem bude Gert mluvit, tak tady na začátku shrnuto, nejprve tedy ty partnery toho projektu, potom se pobaví, nebo respektive v rychlosti stručně shrne to, jaký projekty už proběhly a vlastně jaký projekt teďko plánujeme v těch následujících 2 letech, proč vlastně tady jste, proč jsme vás pozvali. To hlavní, co je třeba jenom vědět, tak je, že ta spolupráce probíhá tedy mezi těmito 4 kluby, Sluneta, Litoměřice, Titáni a Ottendorf, což jsou ty 4 kluby, které vlastně se dotají do tohohle projektu rozvoje těch trenérů, což je vlastně cílem tady toho projektu, tak se zapojili. Proto jste tady pozváni i vy a teď nejde o to, abyste okamžitě po tomhle semináři nebo po této prezentaci řekli ano, chceme se zapojit nebo ne, ale abyste si to promysleli na základě těch informací, které vám tady dneska Gert podá. Thank you. It's yours.
Okay, I will ask just a question to our German listeners, to ask if the understanding is okay. Auf Deutsch, ihr habt es gerade gehört, der Jan Dvoracek, sein Spitzname ist Kaffee, den kennen einige von euch schon. Er übersetzt ein bisschen aus dem Englischen ins Tschechische, weil wir doch auch ein paar Trainer dabei haben auf der tschechischen Seite, die nicht ganz so gut im Englischen sind. Gibt es bei uns Leute, die Übersetzungshilfe brauchen? Falls ja, dann einfach mal kurz im Chat schreiben. Ansonsten würde ich einfach weiter in Englisch fortfahren. So, ich sehe keine Kommentare, von daher fahren wir einfach fort. Wie gesagt, I will continue here. Stefan Hanslik is coming. I will continue here, shortly introduce our 4 project partners. Sluneta, Usti and Laben is the biggest partner on the Czech side with about 300 members. They have about 12 teams, including 6 girls teams, which are organized in the BK Skrivanik. Their first team, or their men's team, is playing in the highest league, same like our German Bundesliga, and they are having a big own sports centrum or gym called Sportzentrum Sluneta. The Dresden Titans, as lead partner of the project, are the biggest membership here with about 360 members. The newest numbers are about almost 400. We are about 25 teams, more concentrated on the male, on the boys sports, even though our teams in the under 10, under 8 and under 12 are mixed. Our first team is playing in the 2nd Bundesliga Pro B, which is the 3rd highest league in Germany, and we are having an under 16 and under 19 playing in the German Bundesliga, Youth Bundesliga. We have also a big arena, or 2 big venues. One is the arena, Margon Arena, where our first team plays, and then the second is our Campus Tolkewitz, where we are hosting all our youth program teams. The club from Ottendorf-Okrilla is about 130 members. They have 9 teams, including 3 females, even also 2 mini teams, which are mixed, and even 3 mini teams. They have about 3 gyms. One is a new modern 2-court gym. They are a young, or not so young club, more traditional club. We are like interacting with each other on the regional competitions with the Dresden Titans, especially in the mini basketball. The clubs from Ottendorf have been developing very good in the last years. Also, the girls basketball is pretty strong in Ottendorf. They have, for instance, one of our national team's players and rising stars on the female basketball. Litomerice is a club which is about 30 minutes towards Prague from Usti away. They are having about 150 members, 11 teams, including 2 girls teams, which came to the club, I guess, 2 years ago. Their first team is playing in the second league, while the under-9 team is playing in Extra Liga. Under-17 unfortunately missed the qualification last year, so they are competing for competition for the under-17 Extra Liga in the next years, which is the same like in Germany, the Bundesliga.
Že ve stručnosti asi jenom představení těch jednotlivých týmů a vlastně družstev, jaké mají, jakou mají členskou základnu, kde hrají, v jakých soutěžích a podobně. Myslím si, že tady můžete názorně vidět, takže není třeba většího překladu. Go ahead.
Okay. So in the last 3 years, the first project was a cooperation between the clubs in Usti and Dresden. We cooperated for 3 years, since July 2017 until September 2020. We have had yearly about 17 activities, which were mostly tournaments, the Slunetta camp, holiday exchanges, and one coaches clinic a year, which was more having the focus in that project were youth tournaments and connecting with other clubs. That's what happened. That's what our goal was. We got more in touch with clubs from Usti, from Decin, also from Teplice. On the German side, we got contact with clubs like Ottendorf, clubs like Chemnitz, Leipzig, or Berlin even. So we created a number of tournaments which were partially really good. Sometimes we made experiences with our competition levels where we have a bit problems, where maybe in Czech Republic they are playing under 11 while we are playing under 10. But overall, we created a regular tournament series of mini basketball, also a couple of competitions on the under 19, under 18 tournaments. And this is what we achieved so far in the last 3 years.
Takže během těch posledních 3 let proběhl jeden z dalších významných projektů, kde vlastně byla úzká spolupráce Drážďan a Ústí. Díky tomu projektu proběhly spousty turnajů, ať už kategorii U11, 12, 13 až po kategorie U19, kde se vlastně účastnili i týmy z Berlína, takže ta kvalita těch turnajů byla opravdu slušná a jak říkal Gert, tak samozřejmě byly týmy, kde ta kompetice nebyla taková, ale to k tomu zjišťování té konkurenceschopnosti určitě patří. A pak taky proběhly nějaký výměnný zkušenosti pro ty hráče i pro trenéry, trenérské kliniky a vlastně se navázalo větší spojení mezi těmi kluby a zase snaha zatím získávat ty zkušenosti a znalosti od jinut mimo vlastně mateřský klub. Yeah.
Now the next stage of the project will be now the next 2 years. That will be our SNCZ project 2020 to 22. The title is Basket for All, when neighbors learn from each other. The new thing on this project will be that this time we will not only be 2 partners, but 4. As I said, we will have Dresden, Usti, Ottendorf, and Litomerice. The project plan is to have 2 years in which we were planning to have 10 activities for kids. That will be again tournaments, camps, the Slunetta camp in the summer, for instance, or also friendly games or practice camps where German kids will come to Czech Republic and on the other way around. But the main focus of this project will be as a development for the future of our youth programs. We want to improve and help to develop the coaches a bit better, to educate them, and that's what we want to do by exchanging knowledge and experience with each other. And this is why we are planning to have 16 online meetings. That means for each year we plan to meet each other 8 times for 1 or 2 hours in an online meeting. That's planned on a monthly basis. And during these 2 years, we want to make 4 workshops to visit each of the clubs at least once. This will be more a classic coaching clinic at each partner.
Takže teď už ten aktuální projekt, do kterého jsou zařazeny ty 4 zmiňované kluby, který bude probíhat od tedy loňského roku do září 2022. Plánem tady toho projektu je, aby se zrealizovalo nějakých 16 online meetingů pro ty trenéry, kteří se tedy do toho projektu zapojí. A pak, aby taky proběhly nějaký 4 workshopy, které budou probíhat ať už na půdě Drážďan, Litoměřic, Ústí nebo Ottendorfu. A zde už to bude tedy zaměřeno na nějakou kliniku a vlastně vzdělávání těch trenérů. V souvislosti s tím se také budou pořádat různé aktivity pro děti, jako turnaje nebo tréninkové kempy. Kemp v Ústí nad Labem, jak již tradiční probíhá každé léto. A zase vlastně cílem tady toho projektu nebo tím zaměřením tak je vytvoření té silné struktury trenérů, kteří se vzájemně budou vzdělávat, a což by mělo potom sloužit k položení nějakých základů těch mládežnických programů v těch jednotlivých klubech.
Our topic and idea is to communicate here in this project more in one language. That means, as today, we will try to speak as much as possible in English, even though we know that not everybody has the same level of English. That's why we will try also to organize translators or having bilingual coaches or mentors in this coaches exchange. We want to get everybody a bit closer, and that's and to get more interacting with each other. And even though sometimes the talking with each other with uncommon language is not easy, it makes us all putting on the same level. So we try to communicate as much as possible in English. The same is what we will try to install with our kids when we are coming to an exchange. We have to admit that in the second project, our budget, which we will be funded by the European Union, will not as big as in the first project. That's why we also have to be a bit creative on creating, on saving costs, but also using things and ideas. And for instance, one idea was when we're making visits over 2 or 3 days for exchange of athletes, that we might try to make sleepovers, depending of Corona will allow us. That is at the moment the main question, but the idea was that maybe some German under 14, under 16 players might visit under 14, under 16 players from the Czech Republic, stay at their house for 2 or 3 nights, and get an inside view of how people live there, how maybe join them for 1 day at school, so that we just get them interacting with each other. And we as coaches should try to do the same. We also want to involve in the mini basketball. We want to involve more parents by doing whatever little buffets, providing meals at the tournaments, or just getting to know each other. Because the main thing which we want to use is we want to use our sports and that everybody sees that people from Czech Republic and Germany are very common in a lot of things. And sometimes we Germans can learn from the Czechs, and sometimes the Czechs can learn from us. The main thing is to get closer to each other.
Shall I mention the money issue?
You can.
Just joking.
Yeah.
Takže k tomu vlastně obsahu a k té myšlence tohoto projektu, tak samozřejmě budeme se snažit, aby ten obsah vám byl předáván, a respektive veškerá ta nějaká setkání a kliniky probíhaly v anglickém jazyce. Nicméně Gertovi je samozřejmě jasný, že ty dovednosti angličtiny máme každý na jiné úrovni, tak proto se budeme snažit taky vám poskytnout nějaký překladatele nebo bilingvní trenéry a mentory, kteří budou tady v té situaci k ruce. Nicméně dál tedy vzhledem k tomu, že tady na ten projekt jsou trošičku menší finanční prostředky, než byly na ten projekt předešlý, tak Gert zmiňoval, že je třeba vymýšlet kreativní způsob, jak ušetřit ty prostředky, tak například při těch tréninkových kempech pro ty hráče přemýšlí o využití nějakého exchange programu, respektive přespávání těch hráčů u hráčů místních a pak zase výměnou při pobytu v tom jiném týmu nebo v tom jiném městě. A pak taky, jak zapojit do toho rodiče, že při těch nějakých klinikách nebo dalších setkáních, která už doufejme proběhnou prezenčně, tak by mohli jsme vytvářet nějaký bufety spolu s těmi rodiči třeba, takže to bude víceméně opravdu na tom, jak spolupracovat a jak najít nějakou společnou, rozumnou a příjemnou cestu, jak se co nejvíce rozvinout i za těchto podmínek.
So now we're coming here to the main point, which is regarding to you or addresses everybody of you as coaches. The part where we want to develop our coaches or provide coach-to-coach program. As you might know, or maybe in Germany it's the same as like in the Czech Republic. Normally coaches are getting educated by the federation. As classic, they are making like education programs, and in the end they get a coaching license. For instance, here in Germany, coaches need to go on different certificates on 5 weekends. They have to make some courses. We, for instance, have one coach here with our young guy called Niels. He's at the moment making this program here. So we do not want to get in competition with the federation's education program, but we want to use the more practical point of view by exchanging experiences between experienced coaches and young coaches. And this is what we want to do. We want to do 8 coaches meetings in 4 different age groups. These groups shall be a maximum 8 coaches, shall have a maximum 8 coaches per group. So we think of, in the end, depending on how many coaches want to participate, but we are expecting about 2 per project partner. Each group will be guided by a German and a Czech head coach, or we call it mentor. And beside this, there will be also in a separate situation 4 big workshops, as I said. The goal of the short exchange, or these groups, will be working in these 8 online meetings in the months from January to June and from September to December. So in the 2 summer months where holidays are, which in our case is July and August, there will be no online meetings because we probably will meet each other at some of the summer camps. During these online meetings, the plan is to have the coaches present a certain topic in a 15-minute presentation. The topic will be chosen out of 8 main topics, which we will give in advance. I will show you in a second what the topics might be. And after the short presentation, where a coach, for instance, from Usti can explain how they organize in Usti their Slunetta summer camp, or the coach from Dresden can explain how we are cooperating with schools and kindergartens. Coaches from Ottendorf can explain how the girls are coached on or organizing every year a girls camp only for girls. That's what they can explain. And so the interaction will start. And the goal is to summarize in the end the 5 main facts of differences or similarities on both sides of the borders. Beside this, also the coaches who are participating in this group will be having the possibility to get a coach-to-coach feedback, which we call in Germany a Hospitation. Means each coach has the possibility to record on video one of his practices and upload it on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and then give the coaches of the group the possibility to give him an instant feedback in the next meeting. How we will make it or how this might be possible, I will explain in the next thing.
Takže tím hlavním prostředkem toho vzdělávání a rozvoje těch trenérů také samozřejmě zase jsou ty ostatní trenéři v té dané skupině. Jak vidíme v tom slajdu, tak by mělo proběhnout tedy 8 nějakých trenérských online setkání nebo za aktuální situace online setkání v průběhu toho jednoho celého roku s tím, že letní prázdniny vám budou zachované, takže červenec, srpen volný, žádné meetingy by tady v tom období neproběhly, i vzhledem k tomu, že probíhají různé kempy, kde se určitě s většinou těch trenérů setkáváme. Takže těch 8 meetingů v průběhu roku po 4 skupinách. Tudíž všichni ty trenéři, kteří budou do toho zapojeni, tak s jejich preferencemi k příslušné kategorii budou rozděleny do určitých skupin a v těch skupinách se potom bude při těch online meetingách diskutovat nějaké předem dané téma. Takže například téma, jak ve Studnetě organizují ten letní kemp. Takže vždycky ten trenér v té dané skupině bude mít 5 až 10 minut nějakého prostoru pro svou krátkou prezentaci, kdy vlastně bude mluvit o tom, jak v tom jeho daném klubu se na určitých věcech pracuje. Bude se to takhle sdílet s těmi ostatními trenéry a zase závěrem z toho by mělo být pak se sumarizování nějak těch informací a předložení nějakého závěrečného dokumentu nebo guidebooku toho, jak se dané určité situace nebo cokoliv dá vlastně v klubu řešit.
This is how it will or shall look in the end. We will have here 4 categories of coaches which we want to make 4 groups where they can interact with each other. We are talking here about the category of mini coaches, that is the teams of under 8, under 10, under 11, under 12. Then the second category will be youth coaches. That will be the categories of teenagers like under 13, under 14, under 15. Then we're coming to the third category, that's junior coaches. That is the under 16, under 17, where we are talking about aging teenagers, I would say. And then the senior coaches is where we are, coaches can exchange with each other who are working with the oldest youth group. Even coaches who are working already in the senior programs can also participate here, because there we were talking a lot about how to develop teenagers or later teenagers into the senior basketball, because this is also one topic, how to make basketball players becoming men's or women's players so they can play a bit longer for the local teams. Within this whole program, we will provide each coach who will participate. They can use our Zoom license. Everybody will get a polo shirt, coach's board. We will be able to fund the trip costs if we're having meetings. Also there at meetings there will be food, and also equipment can be provided. Like, for instance, if you want to record your practices, we can borrow your a camera, microphone system, which we were able to buy. But in the end, the main thing which we can provide every coach is free education.
Takže tady máme tu tabulku přehledně tedy rozdělené to, jaké ty 4 skupiny jsou, takže podle českého dělení U8, U9, U10 baby basket. Každopádně je to zahrnuto do té skupiny trenérů minibasketu, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 samozřejmě, jak znáte. S tím, že samozřejmě díky tomu projektu jsou taky nějaké věci, které jsou poskytnuty těm trenérům, jako polo triko, trenérská tabulka, pak samozřejmě jsou hrazené veškeré náklady spojené s tím cestováním do těch klubů spolupracujících, poskytnuté nějaké stravování při těch setkáních, pokud tedy budou nějaká prezenční, a když bude potřeba natočit některý z těch tréninků, jak Gerd zmínil, pro potřebu těch ostatních trenérů, aby pak mohlo dojít k nějaké zpětné vazbě, tak není problém taky poskytnout i kamery a vlastně potřebná zařízení k tomu ten trénink nahrát. A v poslední řadě to nejdůležitější, po čem určitě všichni samozřejmě prahnou, tak je to vzdělání, které je poskytnuto díky tomu projektu.
As you can see here in the bottom of the table, we will have already mentioned a couple of guys who are willing to work or to help us here as mentors for the groups. On the German side, we have the project coordinator Konrad, who might, along with Kaffe, will be able to, or is willing to guide the mini coaches group. On the German side, we have here René Naumann, our regional coach, which is almost something like Tomasz Oleszewski is in the Karlovy-Varski Krai, I guess. René once would be the guidance or the mentor of the youth coaches group. Stefan Mehner, our youth coordinator and under 16 extra Liga coach, will provide the guidance for the junior coaches group, and Vladimir Heil from Usti and our Habo Horst, who is our assistant coach of the first team and of the under-19 Bundesliga. They will provide the guidance for the senior coaches group. So if somebody is willing to join here, René and Stefan on the Czech side, we are at the moment still looking for 2 people. We have already idea who can do that. Just that you know, these will be the guys who will be mentoring these groups.
Takže v těch spodních šedivých kolonkách vidíte jména těch trenérů, kteří budou v podstatě takovými zaštiťujícími trenéry té dané skupiny, nerad bych říkal vedoucími nebo mentory nebo lídři, ale prostě těmi trenéry, kteří budou se snažit dávat tu skupinu nějakým způsobem dohromady. A hlavně tedy teďka informace pro české trenéry, 2 místa v té kategorii Youth a Junior, tak ještě pro ty české trenéry, kteří by byli ochotni na sebe vzít tu odpovědnost těch hlavních trenérů v té skupině, tak tam jsou ještě 2 místa. Samozřejmě máme nějaká jména, nějaké typy, ale kdyby tady byl někdo, kdo by o tom měl zájem, tak budeme moc rádi, když se ozvete.
Yeah, how will the groups work? Yeah, as I said, the goal will be that we will have a Zoom meeting every month, except the months of July and August, where we have holidays. We will create for each group a WhatsApp group, a Google Drive, and maybe a Padlet, which is something like a online sharing platform where you can work on. It's something provided by Microsoft. This also, the duration of these online meetings are supposed to be not longer than 2 hours. This is basically what everybody who is participating has to spend on. In these 2 hours, the plan is to have 4 short lectures per meeting, about 15 minutes of lecture and then 15 minutes of discussion. Or, as I said, there will be also the possibility to upload videos from practices to get coach-to-coach feedback, where one coach can record his practice. For instance, Kaffe could record his practice of his under-11 team, saying like, my goal is this week I want to show you or teach the kids how to make hand-ups, layups with left hand and right hand. And then he will send us first his practice plan, like what he wants to do, what is his main focus. Then he can borrow the camera and microphones from us. He can then record everything, upload it on YouTube, and in 4 weeks, when we meet the next time, all the coaches will be having a chance to watch it in advance at home when they have time, and then they can give him feedback. Our mentors will also watch it, and in the end, the presentations, but also the practice auditions will be graded by our mentors. Means like we want to give a little motivation, means we want not only to spend our time here, we also want to make it as good as possible. That's why we said we will be giving grades from 1 to 10. by the mentors. It will be about the presentations, about the auditions, but also the overall participation. And the 2 best coaches of each group will be provided with a 3-day trip to the Eurobasket in 2022, which then hopefully will take place in the Czech Republic when games will be hosted in Prague and also in Germany. So we will try to get over the federation there some nice trips so that everybody has a motivation.
Tak teď tedy jenom trošičku ještě jednou blíže k tomu obsahu. Takže ty Zoom meetingy každé skupiny jednou měsíčně, kromě letních prázdnin. Komunikaci teda budeme dále jinak zabezpečovat skrze WhatsApp skupinu, kterou vytvoří ti vedoucí těch skupin a bude vytvořen Google Drive, případně i Padlet jako médium pro sdílení nějakých dalších materiálů. Ta online setkání by neměla být delší než 2 hodiny, přičemž měly by proběhnout 4 krátké lekce nebo vystoupení těch trenérů jednotlivých skupin na to určité téma, na kterém se shodnou v tom předchozím meetingu, a ta prezentace by neměla být tedy delší než 15 minut. Vždycky k tomu samozřejmě by měl být poskytnutý nějaký feedback. Pak taky Gerd zmiňoval možnost nahrání toho tréninku, který by pak byl vyhodnocen ať už těmi členy té skupiny, tak samozřejmě tím hlavním nebo vedoucím trenérem té skupiny, a aby vlastně jsme motivovali ty trenéry, kteří se tady na tomto projektu podílejí, tak pro 2 nejlepší na základě toho hodnocení, které bude průběžně zaznamenáváno, tak jim bude umožněno třídenní, tuším, že říkal třídenní nějaký výlet, nebo respektive možnost účasti na Eurobasketu 2022.
So, and this is one of the main thing which we want to talk about. These are the main, the 8 topics which we were saying, which I was talking about earlier. These are, for the 8 workshops, the main topics which we were thinking that could be discussed and that also will be interesting for coaches, which means, for instance, we would start with the first workshops with the topic of organization. That will be basically just plain things, or we have here some examples of what can be talked about. For instance, as I said, we can talk about how holiday camps will be organized, how cooperation with schools works. In the second online meeting, the main topic will be communication, where coaches can exchange their experience on how coaches are talking with players, how they have to treat parents. It's different if you're coaching under 10 and under mini kids or under 16 kids, where the parents try to get more and more out of the communication and ask the coaches more to communicate with the players directly. Same is for people who are talking about coaching. You can communicate verbal, but also non-verbal. Another topic will be also structure, philosophy, and also the things that happen in the gym. For instance, about practice, you can we'll have a Zoom meeting where you can just exchange knowledge about offense or defense drills, individual practices. Same like about athletic practices. There, for instance, we were thinking of maybe having also lecturers. Athletic coaches can participate. The theme of tactics will be very interesting, especially for the senior and junior coaches when you're going to start in the under 16, under 19 teams. Where you start using more and more tactics. And in the end, the final topic will be the player development, because this is one of our main goals of our clubs. We want to develop players. That can be on the one side the main goal of developing a player into a potential professional player, but also just it can also be the discussion of how to develop a little kid which you found in the kindergarten or in the primary school, how to develop it into a basketball player, maybe even can end up becoming a coach, a referee, a professional player. how this can happen. These are the topics which we will talk about. That will be the main thing that you will be talking in the first meeting with your coaches in the groups, where you can select for a next meeting always a new topic and the theme you will be talking over.
Sorry, just a little clarification. Do you want to select the topic during the next meeting or before the next meeting?
Before the next meeting, we will in the next days after tonight's meeting, we will prepare the groups. So the group leaders will get all the contacts and they will then create the WhatsApp groups. So then over WhatsApp, all the coaches will be getting the topics and they can choose what they will talk about.
Good. Takže tady máme těch 8 témat k té případné diskuzi při tom online setkání. V následujících dnech, po té, co vlastně si skolektujeme všechny údaje o trenérech a e-maily a telefonní čísla, se vytvoří tedy ty WhatsAppové skupiny, v nichž se potom ti trenéři domluví na tom, jaký z těchto 8 témat si vyberou do té první diskuze, která by měla být uskutečněna v následujícím měsíci. Takže během následujícího týdne by došlo k diskuzi nad tím, které z těch témat se vybere k prvnímu online setkání, které by mělo proběhnout zhruba v polovině března.
So, as I said, in the end, there is a main goal of every project. Our project's main goal will be to document what we find for common things, but also for different things, what we can learn from each other. That's what the mentors will all document after each meeting. And we will be discussing these things also in these 4 big workshops, so that in the end, we will write everything down in a SNCZ youth concept, which we want to have been written. We want to have something written down in the end, some little brochure, which we can then provide to each club here in the region, where they can, in the end, which they can give young coaches in the end to see what should they do, what are the main things which can be useful, but also what can we learn from each other. So that's why in the end we will have in the next 2 years also these 4 workshops, once in Usti, once in Litomerice, once in Ottendorf and one in Usti nad Labem.
Takže tím hlavním výstupem tohoto projektu, to, co by mělo vzejít po těch 2 letech tady té nějaké spolupráce, tak je vytvoření nějaké brožury, nebo jak jsem již říkal, guidebooku, který by měl potom v těch našich týmech sloužit ať už začínajícím trenérům, nebo i klidně k doplnění nějaké klubové filozofie a právě k ujasnění některých informací týkajících se fungování toho týmu. Takže vlastně bychom měli shrnout všechny ty informace, co jsme nastřádali v průběhu těch setkání, a měly by proběhnout pak takové 4 větší workshopy v Drážďanech, v Litoměřicích, v Ottendorfu a v Ústí nad Labem, kde bychom vždycky ty informace sumarizovali, dávali dohromady, a to je vlastně i tím jedním z těch hlavních úkolů těch vedoucích trenérů, kteří vlastně pomáhají dát dohromady tu nějaký ten závěrečný dokument.
As I said, here are the project's goals summarized. Educating young German coaches, the concept I was talking about, and providing the intercultural exchange for our kids within the tournaments. That's everybody summarized here. I think you don't need to translate it, that's basically what we just said. So as I said, the goal is not only to create professional basketball players, but also coaches and referees, and also helpers, make kids stay in our game, help our clubs to continue to develop, because all what we do everybody of us is getting older, and the main goal of this project is also to develop the next generation of our coaches, which will come after us and taking over. We have seen in Litomerice the late example. Jan Schottner, Honza became a head coach in first league team in Usti, and now Cafe is taking over the responsibility, and also younger coaches will have to fill the gap he's letting in Litomerice. So this is the normal part of every development of every club. So that's our goal here, to develop young coaches by using the experience from experienced coaches.
Takže kromě těch cílů, tedy, které Gerd zmiňoval a které jsme tady už několikrát opakovali, tak samozřejmě není to jenom vytvoření hráčů, kteří budou hrát na vrcholové úrovni, ale také zajišťování jakýchkoliv funkcionářů, rozhodčích, trenérů a prostě celé té basketbalové komunity s těmi správnými hodnotami a sdílení těch informací, znalostí a rozvoj a podpora té basketbalové komunity obecně.
So in the end, here's a summary of how this 1 year of the project will look like. This is just for the information. It's not an obligatory schedule. This is an idea of how the schedule can work. We have to deal now in the moment that we expect that in January to mid of April, we will be not able to do anything in the gyms. So we hope that we will be able in May to invite each other for tournaments, so that we can make some tournaments between May and October, depending on also how the vaccination against Corona will work. But the main thing are here the green appointments, the green dates. Today we are here on February 22nd with our project kickoff, and our plan is until the mid of March, that within March we start with our Zoom meetings, and then each month you see here the green appointments is our goal, to have the Zoom meetings at least once a month. And then we will see in the next weeks how it will be developing. And in the end of the year, we hope that we create a good series of meetings and the exchange will be okay. We know exactly that everybody of you is busy. I mean, that's what I experienced myself, and that's also what we all know. Everybody partially is working in 2 teams or doing now homeschooling, have family obligations. That's why we try to make the meetings as less complicated as possible, as with a short amount of time. With 2-hour meeting once a month is, I think, that's just another practice. That's why we are, for instance, suggesting Monday evening for the meetings, because most teams do not have practice Monday evenings. But this is totally up to you, up to each group and the mentors. They will be talking with you when will be the best time. This is just an idea on how our project year can look like. We hope that you will be joining it.
Takže tady samozřejmě vidíme kalendář, kromě některých turnajů, akcí, kempů, které pro nás nejsou tak podstatné, tak si všimněte těch zelených kolonek, kde je ale orientačně vlastně by měl proběhnout ten online meeting. Jo? Takže pak to bude ve finále čistě na těch trenérech té dané skupiny, aby se domluvili, v jaký den jim to nejvíce vyhovuje. Samozřejmě, že si uvědomujeme, že jste obzvlášť v této době asi určitě všichni velice zaneprázdnění a máte taky svoje povinnosti, rodinné záležitosti a podobně, ale i tak věříme a myslíme si, že na nějaké té respektive každoměsíční bázi toho setkání, která může probíhat ve večerních hodinách, ať už po tréninku nebo v den, kdy trénink třeba nemáte, tak ty 2 hodiny jsou, věříme, pokud možno maximální minimum toho, abychom z toho vytěžili co nejvíce a pořád to samozřejmě mělo nějakou efektivitu.
So we're coming to the end, and this will be for our 4 project partners, the main contact persons beside my person. We will have project coordinators in each club. In our club in Dresden, it will be Konrad Slavik. In Usti nad Labem, it will be Vladimir Hale for the moment. The club in Ottendorf-Okrilla will have Marcel Proppels, who is in full-time working at the bank, but he will be part-time working for our project in the basketball club in Ottendorf and coordinating there the contacts with the coaches who are participating from this area. And in Usti nad Labem, the same with Kafe, Jan Dvoracek, who is working full-time as teacher in Litomerice. He will be also using his side job here in Usti to help us organize in Litomerice the participants for the coaching clinics there.
Tak a tady máme jenom ještě jednou ty trenéry, kteří pro tu svoji danou oblast, ať už na té české straně já s Láďou, na té německé Konrád s Marcelem, budeme vlastně vám nápomocní a proto tady máte i ty kontaktní údaje, ten e-mail, takže v podstatě kdykoliv bude třeba něco řešit, tak jsme vám k dispozici.
Yeah, and this is basically the end of the presentation. First of all, thanks for your listening. We are now coming to the part where everybody is now able to or allowed to ask questions. As I said, I would suggest that you write the questions in our chat first, so that we then can discuss it. If there are any questions, feel free to write now in the chat. So I see here. Kafe, do you have somebody who is having questions?
No.
Everybody is shy of questions.
No, everything was said very well and clear.
Okay, that's good. Now we will then, if there are no questions, we now come to the point where we are 46 participants. And I will now try to, hopefully it works. Yeah, it should work. I have prepared a choice of group, which means I will now click on a button. So everybody has 60 seconds. He can choose on which group he or she is interested in joining us. As I said, it is not an obligatory signing in, but just that we know, okay, if you're interested in the project, just select one of the age groups which you think you might be able to participate. As I said, also in the end, we will not throw somebody under the bus who might be not able to participate in all meetings. I mean, we will try to make it as obligatory as possible, but also we have understanding that family issues or issues at work are priority, and sometimes we also have to understand that people will go away. We have young coaches who might go for next year for studies to other cities, but still this is why it is online. Maybe then you can continue from a different city, but you will be able, we want to just get everything started. So Kafe, maybe you explain it.
Yep. Takže teď Gert bude sdílet asi nějaký program nebo aplikaci, kde jsou ty 4 skupiny, do nichž se vy budete mít možnost zapsat podle toho, v jaké té kategorii byste se chtěli pohybovat a v jaké té kategorii byste chtěli ty informace a znalosti a vědomosti získávat. Není to nic zcela závazného, samozřejmě, že bychom rádi, abychom v té skupině, tak jako tady jsme, v těch 46 lidech, abychom vlastně potom pracovali v tom projektu. Nicméně není to nic závazného, pokud se rozhodnete, že v tom nechcete s námi spolupracovat, nebo vám to potom ty jakékoliv rodinné rodinná situace nebo cokoliv jiného neumožní, tak samozřejmě, jak říkal Gert, nikoho pod autobus strkat nebudeme. Takže teď tedy jenom vaši preferenci, kategorie, kterou byste chtěli.
Okay, so I will start now the survey. Feel free to answer.
Done. It's working.
No,
well done.
That is good.
It seems to me like you are quite great at IT as well.
Yeah, so we are having a lot of mini coaches. We have 29 of 45 who have been participating. So let's hope that in the end we will see who clicked on what.
Gerd, have you checked chat? There's some message.
Oh, yeah. So, thank you. Ellie interessiert sich für Mini or Youth. Das freut mich zu hören, Ellie. Okay, we have 1 minute done. We have 37 of 44 people who have been answering. Thank you very much. I will close it so that we now have an overview on how many people would be participating. I will just make here a short print screen so that we are basically here. Resultat freigeben. Yeah, so that's what you see now or should see now. So which is what we hope for. We will have pretty equal groups. As I said, I'm not experienced enough that I am. I will now have to see if we can read out who will participate, who signed up for each group. We will. I'm pretty sure I can read it out here. In the end, the thing will be that in the next week we will contact you, each of you who have signed up here. We will invite you to join our WhatsApp groups or our email groups, and I will introduce in the next days the coaches who will be the mentors in each of the 4 groups, and then we will give the communication to them so that they will invite you in or contact you then within these WhatsApp groups or emails for choosing the first appointment of our coaches groups, so that within the month of March we will have the first meetings of the groups, and then we will see how everything starts. And I hope everybody will give us feedback, give feedback to our mentors on the Czech and the German sides, so that we then see if things are going well or if we can improve at some point. And in the end, we will be starting here and then see how we can develop the coaching exchange in the next weeks and months.
Takže asi poslední informace na základě té vaší volby. Samozřejmě Gert tedy děkuje těm trenérům, kteří volili a zapsali se nebo nějakým způsobem projevili zájem o spolupráci v tomto projektu. Tak na základě vašich voleb dáme dohromady ty kontaktní údaje, vytvoříme WhatsAppovou skupinu, napíšeme vám a v následujících dnech, možná pár týdnech se domluvíme tedy na obsahu těch prvních meetingů, které by měly být směřovány na polovinu března.
Okay, then from my side, that would be all for tonight. And I would say, if anybody has questions, another shot, write it down here in the chat. If not, then I will not make it longer than necessary. Then I would say everybody deserves a nice evening and enjoying time and the families. Feel free to contact me in the next days. Contact our 4 contact persons Tomorrow we will upload this meeting, which has been recorded on YouTube. So if you have coaches who might have not been able today to join it, then they can check it or can contact us. We can send also the presentation so that in the next weeks we will start working together. For now, I say thank you very much for your attention and goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a nice
Bye-bye.
day, evening. Ciao.
Nasledanu. Guten Abend.
Ahoj, sousede.
Ahoj, sousede.